Hello and welcome to the Deepdale Podcast. It's May 2022 and I'm Jason. This month the podcast includes Farm Chat with Nathan about cropping, hedges and wildlife on Deepdale Farm. Katie Doherty joins me to chat about performing at Deepdale and the creative process of Flow, a new album. Jin gives us a tour of the luxury camping at Deepdale. And Chris chats about the live music programme we are hosting this year. Thanks for listening.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, fistful of sandfire, sea, lavender, see you next year.
Farm Chat with Nathan and Jason.
The swift brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you very much for doing that test.
You're very welcome.
Is that Maple, the swift brown dog?
Is she that swift?
She can be, when she can be asked.
Yeah.
She's, I think she must have greyhound in her because she's either asleep or running. There's not a lot else that she does in life, really. Occasionally the Labrador side kicks in and she looks for food.
She's a Labrador, a greyhound in a Labrador wrapper.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad day, really. It's not fully sunny. It's trying to be blue skies, but it's not really being blue skies.
It's considerably better than it was the other day when Stephen and I planted 900 hedging plants in a wind tunnel.
That's
the middle
true.
Of a field.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true. And it is quite warm.
There you go. What more could you ask for?
So, it could be a lot worse, couldn't it, really?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. And we're sitting in the backpackers' courtyard, or the stables courtyard, as it is now called, because I'm still, bearing in mind I did the rebranding, I would have thought it would have clicked in.
Is that what it's called now?
It's the stables courtyard.
I didn't get the memo. Okay, right, that's good.
So because this is rooms now. This is the stables with rooms, rather than the backpackers' hostel as it was.
If we get backpackers showing up now, do we release the hounds on them?
Yeah, basically we just chase them off the land.
Right, fair dues. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Or we put them to work.
Well, we put them to work easily, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the alternative, which seems to work quite well.
Yes, indeed.
So, we're sitting in the stables courtyard. You can probably hear the birds around us, absolutely stunning. Birds everywhere. The sparrows are loving life. There's some bumblebees. I'm chatting with Nathan. Hello.
Hello. Half an hour later, Jason had finished listing all the wildlife on the farm.
Well, it's nice that we've got so much wildlife that we can list it.
It's all woken up, including the swallows that are now here 5 days later than they returned last year, but the swallows are back.
Yeah, it's very nice to see them.
Yes.
So they're moved into the old forge, and they'll be no doubt under here fairly soon.
I'm hoping we're going to see more than we did last year. We had a nasty cold snap last year that I think pushed a lot of them back when they were sort of coming north.
Yeah.
It was this northerly cold snap, and I think a lot of swallows didn't make it, unfortunately. So it was really quiet compared to the year before. So hopefully a lot more make it this year, and we'll be sort of have their chatter around the place.
Because 2 years ago, that was the first time we put a cover crop in.
Yeah.
And that was when we got really excited about these thousands of swallows sort of swooping down and enjoying the incredible insect life that was over the fields.
Indeed.
And it wasn't quite the same thing. Although I have to say, when they gathered to leave last year, watching them covering almost every square millimetre of the grain tower, all round the edges, that was something quite special. And one moment they were there, and the next minute they were just gone.
You've got these sort of like shifts, shift changes. It's like the pink-footed geese sort of leave, and then there's a little bit of a gap, and then the swallows rock up, and you sort of know where you are again.
Yeah. It's it's a strange one, but it is very lovely.
Yes, indeed.
And sorry, that's my phone. That's not me opening bottles of beer.
It's awfully
that's
unprofessional, honestly.
Yeah, I know. You would have thought by now I would have learnt to put my phone on silent, wouldn't you? Really, but hey. We've only been doing this for 2 or 3 years. Why would we know what we were doing?
No. Happily bimbling through.
So you've been you've been planting hedges in a wind tunnel.
Yeah, so we put a video up on YouTube a little while ago talking about how we've actually coppiced one of our hedgerows, which was essentially to sort of force it to sort of regenerate some really tired old plants. And it was really scary, and
it was
quite brutal and quite drastic. But
not just because of the size of the cutting blade.
No,
of the
indeed.
Thing. So yeah.
But we explained sort of why we did that, and what we've actually already seen is those cut stumps are sprouting up from the bottom now. So the cut plants are already starting to regenerate from the base, which is lovely to see. What we've now done is I nearly killed myself doing it. But we've raked back the whole of the bank that hedgerow is on, cleared back a lot of weeds, dug out a lot of mallow and Alexanders and a lot of these weeds that sort of want to pop up. And we've actually planted over 900 new hawthorn plants, some blackthorn, hazel, to basically gap up that hedge line, and a few new oak trees as well. So we've got some nice hedgerow trees in the longer term. And that we now need to let the hedgerow get on with it. We'll let the coppiced stumps sprout back up and let those recover, and we'll see how these new plants go. So yeah, I mean, this winter we've put quite a lot of plants in the ground. New stretch of hedgerow. Lots of gapped up hedgerow, various different trees dotted around the place. So yeah, that's been good. And I've got the rest of this week to basically plant everything that we've got left. So I'm dashing around with a hedging spade, sticking in whips anywhere there's a spare square inch.
So if you come and stay on the campsite, you'll see a bunch of new trees that Nathan's sort of gapping up around the campsite where we've lost trees through nature or other uses like small children, and then there'll be some other spaces where trees would be nice to add to the existing hedgerows, which are really taking off very nicely now. It's great.
They're doing very well actually.
Yeah.
And some lovely big alder coming up, and some sort of nice mix of trees. But yeah, it takes them a while to get going. The conditions here are pretty harsh actually.
Yeah.
They're pretty unforgiving. You go from a very from quite a wet and very, very windy winter to basically, and now there's no rain for a while. So yeah, all things considered, they do remarkably well.
There was a nice bit of rain last night.
Yeah, indeed.
Mum's water butts refilled, so having been emptied by the painters, so that's really great because that will be enough to kind of help your whips on their way.
Well, I also need to do that on a larger scale as well. We're actually going to dig a new pond next to Downs Barn, which is our new centre for rural skills and engagement, and our volunteers' kitchen and facilities. And we're going to dig a new pond there, which is 8 by 5 metres, and essentially I'm going to divert a drain pipe from the cart shed of the barn to fill the pond. So I'm hoping for a bit more rain before too long.
Yeah, we don't want lots, but we want a nice bit of a wetness in the evenings.
Get the crops going as well. So the wheat is up now, the barley is starting to get away. So yeah, a little bit of rain every so often would be nice.
Yes, it's useful because we occasionally, as you say, it's famine or feast here. We seem to have unbelievable amounts of rain and then nothing at all for periods, and nothing really enjoys those things apart from ground elder, really.
Yeah, indeed. And, it's one reason why Alexanders do so well around here. These massive umbellifers that are quite invasive all along this stretch of the coast. You realise when you pull them out of the ground, they've got a taproot that goes down about a foot. So they're actually sort of they're quite happy because they're basically getting down further and getting any moisture they can.
Yeah.
I hate Alexanders. Have I said recently how much I hate Alexanders?
Regular listeners to the podcast may have noticed that they are not your favourite things.
I really hate Alexanders. Thanks, Romans.
Barley in the ground, wheat in the ground. You planted a huge number of trees. We're not doing beans this year because
Because beans are a nightmare.
Yeah.
We are in the second year of organic conversion, so this year we are still growing crops without any chemicals, fertilizers, or any other sort of anything out of a bag or a bottle. But it takes 2 years to convert to full organic status, which will be from harvest next year. So this year we're growing a spring wheat called Mulika. And we're growing a spring barley, which is the same spring barley we grew last year, called Laureate. And so we've got 30 hectares of each. We were going to grow 10 hectares of spring beans. We knocked the spring beans on the head. So we previously described spring beans as, I think, an I wish crop. You either, I wish I'd grown more, or I wish I hadn't bothered.
Yep. And Stephen also described them as, when he was harvesting it, like having a bag of spanners thrown at his head.
Yes.
Because of the noise in the combine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's actually also just a simple case of maths, really. We would have been expecting a not huge yield off 10 hectares. So this was a sort of, spring beans were in the rotation as a necessary break crop to sort of leave some nitrogen in the ground and get us through organic conversion. But actually the quantity of beans that we would have ended up with, we would have ended up paying cap load charges. So to explain what a cap load charge is, when we sell crop off the farm, a lorry comes along, and the lorry will normally have capacity to take around about 29 tons of crop. And we will look to fill that lorry, and then the lorry goes away and we get paid for the crop and everyone's happy and it's all lovely. If we actually put less than about 28.5 tons of crop on the lorry, because it's essentially because the haulier is sort of budgeting for sort of time and fuel and doing things in a certain way, the haulier actually charges back for every ton of load that they're not carrying, because it's essentially wasted capacity.
Yeah.
And we would have ended up with about 15 tons of beans, which would have been a pain in the neck to harvest and a pain in the neck to grow. And last year they were absolutely infested with weeds, and we ended up losing lots of beans on the field when we tried to combine them. And so all of this, coupled with the fact that we would have actually ended up sort of paying cap load charges for a sort of half a load essentially of beans, just meant that it really wasn't worth the hassle. So we've opted for putting barley in the rotation again, and what we're instead of, to have a break crop, what we're instead doing is we're putting in overwinter cover crops, which have got lots of legumes in. So it means that we don't go straight from a cereal to a cereal, which is not ideal. We have a cereal, and then we have something like a winter cover crop, which has got lots of sort of radish or clover or various other bits and pieces, and then we can look to hopefully graze that again. So we still have diversity in the rotation, and we still have a sort of a nice bit of variety in the rotation. But we're also this is walking the line between making decisions that are sort of about having a nice diverse choice of crops, and also just doing what is practical for us as a farming business, and what is just it's basically sort of, there's some path of least resistance stuff here.
Yeah.
So that's why we essentially knocked beans on the head this year, and we're just growing more barley. There's another thing, which is at the moment the situation in Ukraine. With how they're being affected there, they have probably been pushed in many areas to be able to drill crops at all this year. So grain markets are basically, grain will be much more in demand, and it means that there's probably a premium attached to growing wheat and barley. So we're sort of it's a very, very horrible situation in Ukraine. But, Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe for good reason. It's a massive producer of wheat. But we're in a position to potentially take advantage of a small premium on crops, because those cereal crops that Ukraine can't grow, if we're in a position to, then we're able to do a little bit there, and it's a good thing.
Just to make clear, Deepdale will not be replacing the entire production lost from Ukraine.
Very long way from it.
Yes, it will be probably 1/100% of the thing. If that may even be an overestimation of how much we could affect that, but it will be fascinating to see, probably for all the wrong reasons, what the impact of this is going to be, and how long that's going to last for. So, big changes. So And you've got all the trees in for the TCV trees, or have you got a few more to go in?
So the lovely people at TCV and OVO Energy gave us a bunch of trees, and we've put in several of those. We've put in at least 250 into an area which is open for camping, and we're going to have a few more going up around where we have our conservation volunteers up at Downs Barn. And there's a few different spots that we can put them. The thing about TCV run the I Dig Trees scheme, and they're giving away something like 2 million trees a year, which is fantastic. The main thing is that we need to be putting those trees in places where those trees are going to be accessible by people. So it's not sort of tucked away in the back end of the farm somewhere. So we're finding a few different spots to put those trees, and it's a lovely mixture of various different species. We've got a proper sort of smorgasbord of different varieties of trees. So we've got a few more of those to go in this week, and then that'll be 500 more trees on top of all the hedgerow plants we put in, which is going to have ended up being at least a couple of thousand this year.
Yeah, and the thing I love about the hedge planting that you've been doing is the fact that every 10 metres there's an oak going in as well. So that's just beautiful.
So I mean, wanting to essentially deal with providing continuity of hedgerow trees. And if you're staying on the campsite on the farm, if you look out to a lot of the hedgerows, you will see predominantly in our hedgerows we also have oak trees, and those can be spaced out just 10 metres apart, or they can be much further apart. And some, at various points over the years, as our hedgerows have deteriorated, a lot of those oak trees have sort of unfortunately been lost as well. And
you also discovered that irrigating guns and oak trees in hedges are not best friends.
Yeah, so if you're driving around Norfolk, if you're driving up down, say, the coast road in various different areas, you will actually see some of these oak trees look a bit sorry for themselves about 2/3 of the way up, and it's actually because irrigators have essentially been kicking the crap out of them. The rain guns, when they're doing a headland run, they will actually be knocking the foliage and some of the branches out of the trees. So you'll see, especially if you're driving along certain roads, if a tree looks a bit bald about 2/3 of the way up, it's probably an irrigator that's actually damaged it.
Yeah, because the best will in the world, when you're running an irrigator, there's always that bit of the field that you can't quite do, and it's always a bit closer to the hedges than you'd like.
Indeed. Hopefully TCV are doing I Dig Trees again next year, so it's worth keeping an eye on TCV. And if you have a community group, or you have any area that looks like it would benefit from having some trees, you can put an application in there for anything up to about 500 trees, and that can be a wide variety of different trees, and you'll get all the guards and the canes and everything that you need free, and then you just need a bunch of people, enthusiastic people with spades, to get them in the ground.
So kind of coming up, anything sort of major that we should be watching out for in the farm, just a sort of change in the guard for the wildlife, and and the cover crops beginning to sort of come up, and that sort of thing?
Well, we have crops starting to emerge. We also later last year we seeded lots of wildflowers and areas of wildflower and grass. We have more to do now. So 60% of the farm is now being managed for wildlife through wildflower and grass areas, through wild bird seed mixes. We've got more seed to put in. I mean, we will actually be sort of doing field work pretty much right up until we're ready to harvest, and then through from harvest we'll be carrying on after that. So lots more to do. Various areas of flowers all coming up. Should see a lot more in the way of invertebrates on the farm, hopefully looking out for various different species of bees, various different pollinators. We have got honeybees on the farm. We've even got feral bees. We've even got wild honeybees living in the woods. So we're doing whatever we can to sort of to encourage and provide better habitat opportunities for these various different species. And yeah, it's just worth keeping an eye out. What we'll try and do is we've got some notice boards up around the place, and we'll try and keep those updated on a regular basis with roughly what you can expect to see, and also a little explanation of what we're up to on the farm at any certain period of time.
Yeah, and if you're not actually physically here and you want to have a look at stuff that's on, Nathan does a really good job at doing updates on both the blog and the YouTube channel and sort of Twitter. So, just keep an eye on those, and you'll see all the various things that are happening on the farm. It's well worth keeping an eye on. And we've had some hugely positive comments about his explanation of kind of creating the habitats and creating the beetle banks and explaining about hedge maintenance and all that sort of stuff. So have a look through those. Are really interesting and a really good introduction to what they are. So
and guided farm walks first Thursday of every month, and we're also open this year for Open Farm Sunday. So we will be open for Open Farm Sunday this year. And Open Farm Sunday, we will have a couple of farm walks during the day. And this year, I'm one of my jobs for this week is I have to bury some pants.
Of course, yes, the Y fronts that
Yes.
you've got to the cotton Y fronts.
Yeah, so Open Farm Sunday is on the 12th of June, and before Easter, I've got a job which is to bury some underpants around the farm. And the purpose of burying your pants is because these things are 100% cotton.
They're clean, by the way. They're not just ones that Nathan sort of took out of the wash basket.
No, they're definitely clean. So these are lovely, pristine, clean white undies, and we will be burying these 8 inches down in the soil, and we will dig them up on Open Farm Sunday because we'll want to see what the soil biology has done to break those underpants down. So that's a job for this week, is I've got to wander around the farm burying some pants.
Excellent. It's important to have jobs like that on the to-do list,
Yeah,
just so
totally.
that life isn't too mundane.
Indeed.
Yeah. So you wanted to mention something very special that's going on with Richard Rood, or ongoing something special that's happening with Richard Rood. So tell me.
Well, we've tied Richard down to some more dates to do our Introduction to Green Woodworking course. So Richard has been running these through the winter, and we've had some lovely reactions from people. It's a very nice, calming, relaxing day. It's this sort of wonderful combination of sort of meditative, relaxed, being very zen, but also quite focused and sort of concentrating to get yourself in the zone. So Richard has got more green woodworking courses on. We've got new dates for April, May and June. So the 23rd and 24th of April, the 7th and 8th of May, and the 18th and 19th of June. There's no more than 4 people in a group. It's a nice, small, manageable group, nice and relaxed. And Richard is a very patient tutor and a very sort of relaxing, calming presence to be around. And you can come and spend the day. It's a day on the farm. We're going to be moving our courses up to Downs Barn, so we're near our woodland. You're surrounded by all the bird song, and it's a very lovely place to be. And you can make yourself a dibber or a spurtle or various different things using a pole lathe, using a draw knife, using traditional tools. And this is all with wood that's actually come from the woodland on our farm. So 0 air miles implements for your life. Just go to the Deepdale Farm website, look on the events listing, and you can find out more.
And it's a hugely satisfying thing using a pole lathe, because it's just got that sort of natural feel to it. It's all about being in harmony as you move your foot, move your hands, everything else. It's just very zen, as you say. It's lovely.
Yeah, if you start stressing and sort of start wanting to sort of be sort of in control of it, it sort of all goes a bit off the rails. So you need to surrender to the process.
Yeah.
So it's really sort of quite therapeutic and a very pleasant thing to do, and immensely satisfying when you get it right. And you can actually produce something that looks really rather beautiful. So take a look.
Fantastic. That's great. Yeah, so those dates are, there's dates in April, May and June at the moment. There will be dates later in the year as and when, but at the moment those dates are on the Deepdale Farm website. If you head to deepdalefarm.co.uk, click on events, and you'll see everything you need to know, and you can book straight onto them. Well, lovely to talk to you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I hope we continue to get a nice mix of rain and sunshine, which the plants love so much.
Yes, indeed.
And enjoy, hopefully, slightly less windy days as you get the last of the trees and hedge plants in.
Yes,
so
please.
That'd be good. Cheers, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Katie.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
So I'm chatting to Katie Doherty. You may well have have seen her at the Deepdale Festival 2021. She did the most wonderful, hauntingly wonderful set in St Mary's Church with the Navigators. And she's coming back with the Navigators to Deepdale on Thursday, the 2nd of June. So not far away now. She's going to be part of our music sessions sort of program for the year. And it's just fantastic. We're on her national tour celebrating her new album, Flow, which is, we're very honoured, to be quite frank. And Chris is incredibly excited about. I'm chatting to her right now. So hello, Katie.
Hi, Jason. It's lovely to be here.
So last time we chatted, we were prepping for Festival 2021, and you were one of 6 artists that kindly came onto the podcast to chat about performing. And of course, you had no idea what you're putting yourself in for. You'd never been to Deepdale before, so you said lots of lovely things. But hopefully, as you're coming back, you quite enjoyed Festival 2021.
What a brilliant festival. What a fantastic festival. Yeah, it's one of our highlights, definitely. Partly because people are very friendly. The church was so beautiful, and we had such a good audience, and it was just as we were starting to come back to live gigs, so all of that was a bit nerve-wracking, but everyone was lovely, and we saw some other fantastic artists at the festival. So we know that you not only run a great festival, but you've got great taste. So
a good combination. Well, I can't take any responsibility for the program of artists. That's very definitely Chris's thing. I occasionally throw things in, and say, well, maybe you should. And he goes, yeah. Normally he says, yeah, I already know about them, and I've already booked them. But at least I try. I have to feel like I'm participating.
yeah, I think you said that had happened with Catherine Priddy. Is that right? Did you throw her name in and he was already on it?
Yeah, exactly. I felt really chuffed with myself that I found this amazing artist. You've got to have her. Yeah, I'm already done it, mate. I'm already done it. Yeah, okay, thanks, Chris. Yeah. He could have said, yeah, Chris, yeah, Jason, don't worry. Yeah, I'll get her booked. It's fine. And he could have lied to me the whole time, and I would have felt really, really satisfied. But no, he blew me out of the water.
He could just humor me. Yeah, you're right. That's a bit cruel, isn't it?
So tell me about Flow. Tell me. This is a new album. So when is the actual album out? Is it out now?
No, so the album won't be out officially until the end of July.
Right. Okay.
We've got a single coming before we start the tour. We start the tour in May, and then we come to you in June. And the single, I think, is out on the 4th of May. But we will have exclusive copies of the album available to buy on tour. How exciting is that?
That is very exciting. Excellent. So if they come to the gig, they can buy copies of the album. That's very cool.
Pre-release copies before anybody else in the world can hear it. Yeah.
And if they're really sweet to you, will you sign them as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
Fantastic. That's great.
I never have a pen.
That's all right. We'll find a pen. It'll be fine. Mainly because Chris will want his signed. So, it'll be very important. So how has the creative process been with this? Has it, because with all the weird lockdowns and all of that sort of stuff, were you writing this during lockdowns and then as soon as you were able to kind of get together, or have you been doing Zoom kind of get-togethers, or how has the creative process worked for this?
All of the above, really. So yes, I was writing during lockdown. We were meeting on Zoom, but we never make things easy for ourselves, Jason, because I work predominantly in the theatre, so I'm always sort of coming up with weird and wacky, wonderful, hopefully, ideas about different ways of approaching the creative process. So. And we quite often work within the community and get people involved as much as we can, and have kind of a team effort, which is why we're called the Navigators. It's sort of meant to be a cool sort of club. I'm not sure whether we live up to that, but so we did a project early 2021 where we took demos from the album to 4 completely different groups of people based up here in the northeast where we are, and we worked with a playwright who I work with quite often called Laura Lindo, and basically we just talked to people about these songs and how they responded to them, a little bit of whether they hated them or whether they thought they had thought they were worth carrying on with, but also just artistically what it made them think of, and the responses were amazing. So people came back with poetry and songs that they've written themselves, artwork, dance, and the idea was that we would this would infuse how we made the album. So we're still on that journey, but the single that we're going to release, the video for it is a piece of choreographed dance from one of the groups that we worked with, and they're performing it, and then another girl who I've met recently, Jem, she's going to animate them. So it's going to be an animated piece of dance from a group it's an inclusive dance group based in County Durham called Tin Arts. And
Cool.
they are all dancers with learning disabilities, and they come together once a week and create dance. And we met them on Zoom, which was really weird because they were all in their own little boxes creating a dance, which was amazing, but also so strange. And so that we called it flow because of that creative flow of passing on something to people and then them passing it back to you, sort of thing. So it's been a bit of a long but really interesting process, which is still continuing. Yeah.
Fantastic. Sounds great. I'm really looking forward to hearing it. Chris was waxing lyrical about it all, and getting very excited in his own inimitable way as he does about these things. So it's going to be fun, and you've had some wonderful, that folk radio said, hers is an ascent worth following. So that is, what more could you ask for from such a big radio station? That's fantastic, and I love the other bits that have been out there, and people absolutely loved your set at Deepdale Festival. So I know people are going to love watching you in the Brick Barn. And I remember taking you, because I remember walking you around the site, because you were unlucky enough to find me rather than Chris when you arrived. And I remember taking you to the Brick Barn, and you your eyes lighting up and thinking, oh, this looks like a nice venue. And then taking you to the church, and I was thinking, please God, like I hope she really likes this venue. And then you got very, very excited about that. So I was happy at that point. I was thinking this could get really awkward if she much prefers the first place I've taken her to than the second.
No, I've never been much of a diva, Jason, but there's time yet.
Well, if your ascent is as quick as as folk radio say, you'll have plenty of time in your life to be a diva. It'll be fine.
Wait till you see our rider. Yeah, blue Smarties, only blue Smarties, please.
Right, got you. Yeah, and someone with a large fan, you want elephants, waving a big fan, and that sort of stuff.
Definitely, yeah.
I feel if you get to the point where you can ask for riders, you've got to ask for something sort of slightly off the wall, haven't you, just to kind of make it fun.
I know. I think it's a really uncomfortable thing. There's a couple of venues have asked us for our rider, and I just feel a bit embarrassed and go, tea and coffee, please.
You'd hope that was the very bare minimum, wouldn't you? Really?
Minimum, yeah. I'm also aware that you're probably going to be judged on what's in your rider, aren't you? So
yeah, we do occasionally get riders, but it tends they've been relatively sensible so far, apart from some of the bands that we know quite well who just sort of think it'd be really funny to go and put something silly in. But luckily, we know them well enough that if we completely disappoint them, they're not going to hold it against us and refuse to play. So
Yeah,
balancing acts between the two. I'm not sure I want to get to the point where I need a small army of people sorting out the rider details, or licking the particular M&Ms, in a particular way to be, only considered at that point, sort of thing. But maybe we're past that point now with COVID.
I think so, yeah. I was going to say, if anybody remembers Dave, I don't know how you can forget Dave once you've met him, who's the melodeon player in our band. If I gave the job of the rider to him, I think we'd have some very entertaining times ahead of us. But I haven't contemplated doing that yet. Maybe things get really dull. That's what I'm going to do.
When you want to stop being invited somewhere, just get him to do the rider.
Yes.
Yeah, I never want to play in this godforsaken place ever again. Right, you're doing the rider next time.
It would be entertaining, but yeah, I don't think we'd get asked back ever.
Yeah, when you're doing this tour, what sort of venues are you playing in?
All sorts, really. I could be honest and say anyone who'll have us. But
yeah, as one of your venues, I'd prefer if you didn't say that.
we have. Obviously, we've been really selective, and we're playing. Our local gig is the Sage in Gateshead. If anybody's seen that, some people think it looks like a slug, or it's a very large glass bulbous thing on the banks of the Tyne. But playing there, and then we've got some lovely gigs, obviously, including Deepdale, and then there's one on a farm actually near Huddersfield called Edibles, and that's also in a barn.
Excellent.
I like a barn. I live on a farm in the North Pennines, so I'm fond of a good barn.
There's something, I don't know, it's something just very aesthetically pleasing about a barn. I don't know what it is, bearing in mind it's absolutely not designed to have live music in. The brick barn particularly, I think it's the big thick walls and just, like the wooden roof, and it just I don't know, it just sort of lends itself to that sort of thing. I don't know what it is.
And it's got a great atmosphere for the audience as well as the band. Some of these big shiny venues can be quite clinical, and I think we're not at all that type of band. And if people want to sing and shout at Dave, that's much encouraged in our sets. So our barn lends itself to that. If there's beer flowing, then that's also a big tick. We just want everybody to feel included and welcome, and I think the barn's perfect for that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's good. And the thing I most enjoyed about the festival last year was watching all of you guys, like all the different artists, interconnecting with each other, post or pre your actual sets, and it was just that sort of felt like you felt like you kind of belonged, if that makes sense. Just seeing the way that you guys all bumped into other artists and saw people and chatted to people, and that, I think that was just lovely for me. That really made it.
Yeah, you almost wonder, don't you, whether Chris manages to curate artists who haven't seen each other for ages and want to have a bit of crack as well. maybe he's just really clever at doing that. But great food outlets as well is a big tick. So we enjoyed some lovely food. Had an exceedingly good curry, and yeah, it was lovely. We caught up with the Shackleton Trio. We watched their set, and I'd never seen them play live before, despite being on the same bill quite a few times. So it was great. We just and having somewhere to stay that's comfy and on site. We don't have to get taxis and all that kind of thing. You just can't beat it as an artist. I hope the audiences enjoyed it just as much as we did.
Well, they've nearly all rebooked for this year, so we've sold all the accommodation for this year already.
Oh, brilliant! That's amazing.
And ticket sales are going very nicely. And now we're having to sort of deal with the disappointment of people who either didn't come last year or weren't on our mailing list, or read the mailing and then thought, I'll deal with that in a couple of weeks' time, by which time it was too late for accommodation. So we're now having to sort of push them out much further and sort of say, right, well, what about there? What about there? But the waiting list is quite big, so we can't even really offer to put anybody else on that now. So definitely local accommodation is the way to go. So we're seeing how that develops. So it is really pleasing. It is really pleasing. So yeah, very,
could
very
expand
happy.
and be the next Glastonbury then, Jason, is the question.
I think, I think a few years ago, I probably had aspirations that it would be lovely to do a whole farm festival. But actually, I think, firstly, I'm sort of stepping back from organizing events. So Chris is sort of going to choose their kind of thing. Well, I'm still going to do some of the marketing, but I'm not going to be actively running the events. Chris and Mark are going to run the event with Tim, the sound guy who you met. Yeah, so they're gonna run the actual weekend, and then I think the gut feeling is probably that having great artists and a really manageable kind of number of people in a sort of have really great gigs in a relatively manageable way, rather than there being a sense of euphoria of having a few thousand people jumping up and down to a band kind of on the hill somewhere on the farm. But at the same time, quite nice just to have a bit more chilled and actually be able to enjoy those things. So I guess it's a bit like running an arts centre rather than a stadium, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Always preferred arts centres to stadiums. Not that I've ever played a stadium. But...
Well, Jess Morgan, who did our little intro piece for our podcast. I don't know if you've ever met Jess, Norwich-based artist.
Yeah.
And she supported Aha at Wembley. So just her and her guitar stepping onto stage prior to Aha playing. So that must have been quite a mind blower, really. Sort of 80,000 people in Wembley Stadium.
I don't think it compares really, but I did have to do a last minute support gig for Ray Davies back in the day, just me and my piano. There was about 2,000 people there, so not really the same, but it was pretty crazy. Talking of riders, Ray Davies had sterile corridors, so no one else was allowed to walk down his corridor.
Wow, that is a rider, isn't it? That's a logistics nightmare. That is. You just need somebody who's running late and takes a wrong turning, and suddenly the entire event could be in jeopardy because you run down the wrong corridor.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? And actually, I don't think anybody heard me because he left. Well, his sound guy left the background music on while I was playing.
Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, that's great. Oh, look, there's a lady on stage playing a guitar. I can't hear her, but yeah. Excellent. Yeah. The life of I'm very jealous that I don't have any musical bones in my body, as many people that are listening to this podcast will contest to. I'm quite jealous about that, but at the same time, some of the weird and wonderful things that happen to you guys as artists, I'm not so sure I miss. I don't think I'm missing out, really.
No. I've done a lot of touring in Germany, which always involves a huge amount of driving. I mean, things in Germany are so far apart. Like, what's today's drive? Just 13 hours,
Oh my God.
And then lovely people who put you up, but think that it'll be okay for you to sleep on a table because there aren't enough beds. Here's a table for you to sleep on. Yeah. And pretzels, far too many pretzels in Germany. But the audiences are fantastic. So
the pretzels are good though. The pretzels are good, but yes, I understand you can suddenly get to the point where there's too many.
Yeah, if you like, I've probably been sickened of pretzels over the years, but I just don't see the attraction. Sorry.
Excellent. Well, really, really lovely to chat with you, my darling. And we look forward to seeing you at Deepdale on the 2nd of June. That'll be fantastic. That's Thursday, the 2nd of June. For anybody who doesn't understand what's going on with the bank holidays for the Queen's Jubilee, very understandable because it is immensely complicated. But basically, Thursday, when Katie is playing, is a bank holiday. So Thursday and then Friday is a bank holiday too. So you can really enjoy Katie and the Navigators and some beer and still not have to go to work on Friday. Unless, of course, you're in the hospitality industry like most of our team who will have to come to work the next day. But anyway, that's, we'll just pretend, we'll just gloss over that. But yeah, so although she's playing on a Thursday, there's no reason for not coming because you'll be celebrating the Queen's Jubilee. And I'm sure Katie has got something appropriate, up her sleeve.
Oh, yikes. I'll have to put something together. Just write something special. Or
There you
maybe we
go.
could write it live there on stage. Let's do
There
some
you go. You could
live
get
songs.
ideas from the crowd, couldn't you? Yeah.
Do
It's a good reason for them to shout at your accordion player, so that'd be fine.
Shoot at him.
No, shout at him. Shout at him.
No shooting allowed, just shouting. Yes.
Just shouting. Yes. No throwing, no shooting, nothing, just shouting. Yes. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I really, we look forward to seeing you. We look forward to the advanced copies of the album being available that night. That'll be brilliant. I hope the rest of the tour goes really well. When do you actually start the tour?
Friday the 13th of May.
Okay, good choice.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it will be absolutely fine. Nobody's superstitious around here, so that's okay. That's okay.
Yep.
And we look forward to seeing you at Deepdale once again, and it will be lovely to see you. And we look forward to all of you listeners coming to join us to see Katie Doherty and the Navigators performing in the Brick Barn on Thursday, the 2nd of June. Tickets are available on our website. Head to deepdalemusic.co.uk. You'll find all the information you need, and there is accommodation still available. So come and join us. Thank you, Katie. Keep well.
Thank you. Lovely to speak to you, Jason. See you soon.
I can feel a hurricane coming through. Oh, I can feel a hurricane coming. What are we gonna do? Oh, it's getting stronger all the time, building up to what is yours and what is mine. Oh, it's getting stronger all the time, building up to what is yours and what is mine. And I ain't never been a rebel till I had a little boy, and they told him from the start that a gun was a toy. And now I'm swerving broken branches on the road through the eye of the storm. Can you hear the wind is crying freedom, freedom and truth? Oh, can you hear the wind is crying freedom? What are we gonna do? Oh, it's getting louder every day, drowning out all of the ugly words they say. Oh, it's getting louder every day, drowning out all of the ugly words they say. And I am predisposed to quiet, but I'm not afraid of noise. And the louder winds are blowing, then the more you need a voice. I will not leave it to the children to tidy up the mess that we made.
Hurricane by Katie Doherty and the Navigators. So we are in one of the Margin safari tents up here on Woodview, one of our lovely luxury camping, posh camping, glamping. You kind of pick the word that sort of suits you best, really. And I'm standing here with Jin. They have taken these very simple, well, not simple, but very nice safari tents and created something really quite beautiful from them, with a lot of hard work and some fabulous upcycling. Jin, tell me a bit more about them. Tell me, like what you've taken these safari tents and done amazing things with them. Tell me a bit more about it.
Hi everybody. So yes, we've got 2 tents, and they are literally fully equipped with everything that you could possibly need for a hassle-free camping with a bit of luxury holiday up at the fabulous Deepdale. So we're stood in the tent, and we've got a proper double bed. There's another single bed, and there's also a day bed that can be made into a full-size bed as well, if needed. There's storage. We've got a fully equipped kitchen with everything that you could possibly need, with 2 gas burners and a fridge and a freezer. So yeah, that you should have everything you'll need for that.
There's even a lovely dog bowl down there. Very smart for things. It's very pretty. Yeah, we like that.
Reserved for Margin's fur friends. Look.
And there are gin and tonic glasses, which there's even a coffee.
Cafetiere?
Yeah, cafetiere.
Cafetiere, darling.
Not being a coffee drinker, that word had gone completely out of my head, which is quite worrying, really, isn't it? But these are something really, really special, just really lovely. And you've got courtesy curtains around the beds if you want them.
Yes, if you want a bit of privacy, yes, there's curtains as well that you can block off the sleeping area. You've got storage. There's also a heater in case it's a little chilly, and there's a fan in case it's really hot. And then walking through, you've got another area that is completely zipped off as well, that's got a sofa in that you can sit and have that all-important cuppa in the morning looking out over the amazing views.
Yeah, it's not a bad view, is it really? And at different times, I love the fact that it changes all the way through the year. So at the moment, it's just got a tinge of green to the woods as they begin to leaf up. Then you'll have full-blown kind of leafy greenness, beautiful leafy greenness for the next the next few months, and then you'll have all the incredible sort of oranges and reds as they lose their leaves in September, October time. It's our own version of the fall. So it's really lovely.
The wildlife. I've been watching hares run across the field in front of us, and then you see the kites, the red kites flying over and what have you. And deer. So yeah, it's really quite spectacular.
And the next hedge up is the one that Nathan and I have just been talking about, that they've been replanting, and they've pollarded it and put loads of work into that as well. So that will be really leafing up and greening up over the next year or two, which will be fantastic. And you've got outside. If you step outside, and we won't because it's just a bit windier. But basically, there's tables and chairs. There's you're split off from the other pitches with hedges. Mark has spent a lot of time building 2 wooden gazebos, so you've got a nice covered area where you can have a barbecue or sit if it's less sumptuous out there. But the views are stunning, the location's stunning, the actual tents are just lovely and perfect for a stay at Deepdale. And you can turn up and you don't have to put your tent up. Everything is ready for you. All you have to do is wheel your bags in and you're done. So yes. It is really lovely. So if you're interested in booking these, head on to the website, deepdalecamping.co.uk. You'll find them listed under luxury camping. Yep. And then there's also lots of other information on there about the site, about the facilities on the site, and you can book them either through the booking form on the website, or you can give us a call on 01485 210 256. That's 01485 210 256. Come and stay with us. It'd be lovely. Thank you so much, Jin.
No, pleasure.
So Chris and I are sitting here in the courtyard. You can probably hear the bird song in the background. We were going to say a lovely sunny courtyard, but it's very grey.
Except it's not, yeah.
It's very grey, but it's not actually raining, which is what we need. So, it's a bit frustrating. You can hear motorhomes arriving in the background, which is very nice. Steve's wandering up to the campsite to show them their place, and customers are walking past with their dogs, heading off down for their evening stroll on the coastal footpath and on the marshes. So that's lovely. And I'm sitting with the lovely Chris. How are you, man?
I'm all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Just back from a few days away down in sunny Cornwall.
Down at the competition.
Yeah, which it was very sunny and it was lovely. We did some good walking down there, and generally relaxing time ahead of busyness up here again.
Did you enjoy a hedgehog?
We didn't have a hedgehog this time. No, we didn't have a hedgehog. We had many things, but not a hedgehog. So,
For anybody who's listening, if you don't know what a hedgehog is, it is it's Sheila's favourite thing in Cornwall, I think. But I have to say, it looked a bit sweet for me. It's basically ice cream covered in clotted cream, is that right? And then rolled in hazelnuts.
Yep.
So it looks quite fun, but it's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Been enjoying hedgehogs since 1984, 5, 3, something like that.
It's from a very lovely beach cafe, it's well worth
Chapelporth.
the thing.
Chapelporth.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go there. You want to come to the beautiful North Norfolk coast. It's
Absolutely.
much closer to
Yeah.
everywhere, really.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It
There you
is. It's definitely closer.
go. And you lot, lovely smiling people, welcoming you here. So that's
Yeah.
why I want to come here. So
Yeah.
there you go. So we thought we'd chat about what's in the diary, because it's quite exciting. When you click on the music page on the Deepdale Camping website, there's actually stuff listed, which is very cool. And it was very sad that
Nice
Emily
again.
May Winters couldn't perform because of COVID. It's very sad.
It was.
But we have other gigs coming and looking forward to them. So
Yeah, hugely. Yeah, absolutely. Really looking forward to.
you'll have already
to
heard us
Katie.
me chatting to Katie about about her playing. So
That'd be great.
how did you find out about Katie? Was it another one from
No, I think Katie
Moseley? No.
Katie actually applied to play on our through our website, and I listened to her music from there. I hadn't heard her stuff before then. This was obviously a couple of years ago, and went from there really.
Yeah.
And booked her from that application, and yeah, the new album that is coming out.
Sorry,
is-
just moving his microphone because it's
is
scratching on his
amazing.
beard.
Yeah. So the new album, I'm really looking forward to that actually emerging, and yeah,
What's that one called?
Flow
Yes.
is coming, and that'll be great to hear some of those songs.
How would you describe her music? Because everybody goes, what genre?
Well, I mean, in the folk roots music genre, absolutely, but very difficult to categorise actually when you listen to the new album, which not many people have been able to yet. I've had a preview copy, so
Show off. I think you mentioned that before.
I know several times, but she writes very personal, emotional lyrics, very empowering, drawing on traditional sources, but also with there's a pop sensitivity in there. There's some lovely catchy hooks. It's great. I love it. I really love it. And the gig at the festival last year went down superbly in the church, and we're really looking forward to seeing her in the Brick Barn this time. So that'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be nice in our upgraded Brick Barn venue.
Yes.
Yes, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. And then we've got the Pantaloons coming back. So they've done an indoor show last month.
Yeah, I was here for that one. Yeah.
And this time they're
that was
bringing
good.
War of the Worlds, which will be a hilarious take on that classic H.G. Wells thing. Yeah, by the way, if you haven't seen the Pantaloons, it's not very much is taken seriously. It's very funny, and I think now they're allowed to steal people's picnics, so they'll be really happy.
I am interested to see how they turn the death ray into a funny experience. But
Well,
I'm sure they will manage to succeed.
They managed to turn the Tempest and things like that into funny
Well, they
experiences.
did. They did manage to turn the fire scene in Great Expectations. I'm optimistic.
Well, that one, the next two shows from the Pantaloons are they're on the Orchard. It's an outdoor show. You bring a picnic, you bring chairs. It's all very chilled and thoroughly enjoyable, and great fun. And they're bringing the War of the Worlds on the 1st of July, Friday the 1st of July. So definitely worth coming to. I realised we didn't actually mention what date Katie's playing.
No, Thursday, the 2nd of June.
Yeah, Thursday the 2nd of
Thursday
June.
the 2nd of June, yeah.
Which
absolutely.
is the Thursday of the Jubilee Bank holiday
holiday.
weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're not working on Thursday unless you're like us and you work in tourism or in a pub or
Emergency services.
emergency services. Yeah, or yes. Most of you are not going to be working, and
You'll be
so
here.
you'll be here.
Yeah.
So you can thoroughly enjoy a lovely weekend here. I would say we can guarantee the weather, but we can't. But no, it will be really nice. So that's Katie Doherty and the Navigators, live music in the Brick Barn, Thursday the 2nd of June 2022, and it's £10 a head. So apologies for not saying that earlier. So yes, good to come out to War of the Worlds. Pantaloons, very funny, and yeah, if you haven't seen them, you definitely need to see them because it's something to behold. Basically, they either have 3 or 4 cast members. They run around, they change costumes, they have very silly takes on very classic stories, and it's very funny and well worth seeing. So, and then on the 23rd of July, we have
Saturday, 23rd July, we have the Shackleton Trio, again in the Brick Barn, and again with a new album. So that'll be fantastic. We're really looking forward to that. So yeah, their new album Mousehold will be out, and yeah,
named after Mousehold Heath.
Yes, which I lived next to for a little while, and yeah, it's very nice, very lovely place on the outskirts of Norwich city centre. Great views down over the cathedral. And
you
to
look
the
one
city.
way, prison. You look the other way.
You don't look that
Norwich
way.
Cathedral.
Yep, absolutely.
So and the castle.
So that album's out. When's that album out? I'm not sure exactly when it's out, but it's out by the time they come and play with us, and so you'll be able to get your copies. Norfolk's folk luminaries, I think we would call them.
And they're lovely people.
Yeah, fantastically lovely people, really talented as well, and that will be a gorgeous evening. So do come and join us for that one, just at the start of the school holidays. But be great.
Yeah, so that's Saturday the 23rd of July. And another live music gig in the Brick Barn. Really should be a very enjoyable evening, and well worth coming along to. The team will be running a bar as they do at these events, and they'll be performing in the barn, and there's a little bit of seating which you can stick £1 in the donation jar for our chosen local charities, or you can bring your own seats. It's not the end of the world, one way or the other. And it's a lovely evening. And then a bit later in the summer holidays, the 19th of August, Friday the 19th of August, the Pantaloons return, and this time with the classic Much Ado About Nothing, which of course you all know really well because you probably studied it at school. Did you not do much? No. Did you not do any in Shakespeare?
I didn't do
at school?
that. Yeah, of course I did. I just didn't do that one. Yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, okay.
Othello.
Yeah.
Merchant of Venice.
Yeah,
but not
much ado. Okay. Yeah, I think it's very funny. They'll find any humour you can in a Shakespeare play, and it's very enjoyable. And yeah, come and see them. Great opportunity to see. If you're not sure a Shakespeare fan, this is a really good way of getting into Shakespeare, because it's not going to be a really heavy duty version of Shakespeare. It's going to be funny and entertaining and a bit slapstick, and probably not quite as much Shakespearean language as you would necessarily get from other versions. So a very good introduction to Shakespeare, and a bloody good evening. Yeah. So it'll be entertaining. So there we go. And then that's it for the summer, unless Chris is going to announce other gigs. But I know he's got them kind of pottering around in his head, but he hasn't got them definitely announced yet.
No, I don't think there are going to be any more. I don't think there are going to be any more before the festival.
Right.
But a couple potentially after. So yeah.
Okay.
Watch this space.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got the Deepdale Festival. Thursday the 22nd to Sunday the 25th. We've got our licence.
September.
Very exciting. September.
Yep.
What did I say?
You didn't.
I didn't. I just said. I just said the dates.
Yeah.
Just random. Everybody knows it's in September. Of course, it's famous. We got a licence today, which is very exciting.
Yeah,
the police haven't put a dampener on that, so that's very cool.
Yeah. That's
good
handy.
news for anybody who's already booked their accommodation.
Yeah.
There's only day tickets available now. We've sold out all of the camping and all the rooms, have we?
We've got a. Well, last time I checked, before I went away, we had a few non-electric camping pitches left on our overflow field.
Oh, okay,
They'd
righty-ho.
a few had come available again, so they are out there on the website. No electricity, but we've got.
Neil, if you're
few
listening, you need to
non-electrics.
jump in if you want those pitches, because I know you said you wanted them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, that's cool. So non-electric overflow
Just a
field
couple-
pitches,
couple
but
left,
just a couple
but yeah.
left. Okay, that's cool. Excellent. Okay, well, that's going to be a great weekend of wonderful live music. Some of the food stalls have rebooked again for this year, so that's very cool. Anything else that we kind of need to know about? Pizzas are here, Fridays and Saturdays, and then they're starting on Wednesdays as well.
Yes,
so
they're starting on Wednesdays through the summer from early June, so they'll be with us, and hopefully one or two other food providers will be with us as well. Just
chatting with them. So if you hadn't realised that pizzas are now doing Fridays and Saturdays, most Saturdays and most Fridays, then you can get really lovely pizza more often, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Wednesdays from later in June. So have a look on our website. That'll tell you all of those. And on our website there are, what is that noise? Is that someone dragging a trolley up the up the
mower.
passageway?
I think it's probably.
Oh, it's the mower. Oh,
A little
Simon.
Temporary mower heading back.
Oh, of course, yes, because
Yeah.
our little ride
Our
on.
ride on
Don't
has
worry,
been
it's fine.
away at the
Everybody
doctors.
knows you've just entered the courtyard now. Say hello to everybody.
Yeah, the ride on is back from the doctors this afternoon. So
Excellent. That's
yeah.
good news. That's very good news because we
We need that.
that is
well, if
missed.
we get any more rain ever.
Well, that's
this
true.
year,
Yeah.
If we don't, then we probably won't need it quite as much.
No, that's true. There's no sign of any at the moment.
No.
So we could do with someone on the farm just so that our barley might actually grow, which would be nice.
Yeah, and I could do with some in my allotment, which I was at yesterday afternoon, just checking on. I haven't got back. And that definitely needs rain.
Needs rain. There you go.
Definitely needs rain.
Well, the pop-up shops continue at Dalegate. Lots of really lovely ones there. Estelle's done an amazing job and got some fantastic artisans and producers in there. There's loads of exhibitions and stuff on our website, so make sure you take at that. And other concerts happening at places like Holcombe and the like. And there's lots of sort of things like trailer tours and that sort of stuff. And then, of course, the Norfolk and Norwich Festival is next month, and so there's some quite cool events happening with that all over. Actually, they're not just in Norwich, so well worth keeping an eye out for those events. And yeah, lots of really interesting stuff on the website. So if you head to deepdalecamping.co.uk and click on events, you'll see a whole programme of amazing events run by all sorts of different people, from Norfolk Wildlife Trust to Holcombe to small village halls to Dalegate Market next door to North Wootton Village Market, all sorts of things like that. So well worth jumping on there and having a look. Nice to see you, man.
And you.
Yeah.
And you.
And we will chat again.
Catch up again.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Thank you. And we look forward to welcoming everybody for our live music. It'll be great.
Yeah. No, look forward to it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks again for listening to the Deepdale Podcast. We hope you enjoy the listen, so much so that you might tell your friends and family to take a listen. You can subscribe to the Deepdale Podcast in any good podcast directory, including Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, Castbox, our hosts, Spotify and YouTube, and you'll find all our previous episodes. We always love to hear your thoughts and suggestions, so please do drop us an email to podcast@deepdalefarm.co.uk. Keep well, and we look forward to seeing you on the beautiful North Norfolk coast sometime soon.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, fistful of sandfire sea. lavender, sea